Alright, we actually have a lot of packages today. Yeah, alright. I don't remember which one this is. This one is the piece of shit that does not want to open up. Okay. And come on, piece of crap. What an annoying piece of crap. Let's see, we have that and let's see. We have a 32-bit birthday sale and a Arrow of the Orion Bitter Level Up in select theaters July 23rd only. Interesting. Great Stuff sale. Anyways, it seems like Great Stuff hasn't been sending a lot of those lately. Let's see. This one's weird. They kind of taped it, you know, the I don't know, just folded in half or something weird like that. Oh my god. These are this week's actual releases. This is actually a Nintendo Switch release. Let's do. I wish this one would stop rotating. And then this is, I guess, one of last week's releases, I think. It was part of last week's order, but what shipped when is weird. And this one is, of course, all the things that were mentioned last week that didn't come out. Or shipped a day late. Okay, nothing else in there. Let's just make this big pile like that. Start with, because this isn't everything. In fact, let's move this down here so that we have a pile, because, you know, this is a Nintendo Switch game, Umihara Kawase Fresh, which looked like a cute little platformer, nothing too spectacular per se. Got a limited run games, Giga Wrecker Alt. I'll talk about that one a little bit later. I did play it a bit. But then we also have Game Tengoku, the Game Paradise. Is that right? And this one is actually a PlayStation 4 limited edition, limited run games release. But this one actually has an anime DVD in it, so you can see it mentions it right there. 2 soundtrack CDs, 21 replica flyers, Memorial Works box, extra characters. Shoot 'em up. I said shoot 'em up. Let's actually get in here, because y'all deserve to take a look at some of this stuff. This came with a soundtrack. It says 2 discs. It tells you disc 1, disc 2. This is a console soundtrack and then the remix. This is the arranged version. It has the arrangement of the songs that were released, and this is the remix. Which makes me wonder if they accidentally mixed up the graphics on them, but I don't know, because usually an arrange is something like a remix. Makes me think this one should have remixes on it and has her newer character. Oh well, let's set that aside. This is the main meat of the run. I think this is supposed to look like the original game box art, maybe. Or I could be mistaken. But this is actually the DVD. Can't read. The Birth of Game Tengoku. This is where I stuck the limited run games thing, and here's the DVD. Really not much else to it, nice and simple. The DVD portion of this. We're going to keep going through this just a little bit. So we got the actual PS4 game here. I don't have a PS4. I got this solely for that anime DVD. I know. Very eccentric. If we dig down, we can get to this, which is Memorial Works, which you can see has a lot of mostly art. Lots of cool art. And these are the flyers, but I'm not going to dig them out because they're in a plastic thing, so I can't really do much with them in terms of showing them unless I'm willing to, you know, open up the plastic. And since I'm being lazy, I'm not doing that. I guess this officially counts as an anime DVD just because it comes with an anime DVD. Funny how that works, huh? Because for all intents and purposes, it's an anime DVD release for me. But I'm going to set this aside because that is bulky as fuck. And you know what? We're just going to begin with Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Blu-ray Diamond is Unbreakable Arc Part 1. So this is set 4, Diamond is Unbreakable Arc Part 1 Blu-ray. The DVD version, I don't know when it's going to arrive because the arrival date keeps changing from July 24th to July 23rd to July 18th to July 11th. That's in 2 days. Does that mean they're planning to ship it soon? Let's take that plastic off. Let's see. Nothing there. I see a region A here. If this is Viz, it's usually English dubbed. Can't remember if they ever say that anywhere. Here they list features. I'll be honest, I can't read it on the little thing. I'm just going to English and Japanese audio. Interesting stuff. Let's take a peek at the inside. So I guess we will begin with this. Set 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. It doesn't say Part 1 here, but I guess we all know it's Part 1. Some Jojo. Disc 1. Disc 2. Disc 3. Nice and straightforward. And then here we have a Key Animations collection. You know, lots of nice art in it. Alright. We have one of this week's release, which is Island. We need to take this for a sexy S and a umbrella top. You know, assuming you're into that sort of thing. On the back, I see a Region A and a Region B. Good for 12 uncut episodes. Crunchyroll. Who released this? Funimation? Guess we're seeing more and more Blu-ray only releases for Funimation. Oof. Meanwhile, back here behind the camera, my hair decided to try investigating the inside of the cavern called my mouth. Which is very annoying, of course. Pretty simple discs. There's an Alice in Wonderland kind of vibe to it, doesn't it? Okay, so I couldn't read any of that there on account of the fact that there's the made in wherever, probably Mexico, all over it. So let's see. Here I see an English dub. Just kind of curious. This is based on a visual novel. I'm not seeing it say... Oh, for fuck's sake, I forgot to put that away. But whatever. Anyways, next up we have standard definition of Blu-ray, Pet Shop of Horrors. I think kind of an old classic. I only remember one episode though. And I don't even remember what all happened in it, just the general concept. Oh god, I really just threw that there. Come on, you piece of crap. Should be English dubbed, because I think the old one had a dub. Yeah, there we go. Region A, 4 episodes on 1 disc. Nice and simple. Next up, we have Aria the Natural. I think this is part 2. Yeah, it says part 2 right there. We'll take a peek on the inside. We have Aria, Volume 4, Volume 5, Volume 6, the Aria cast. Looking much more different than how I'm used to seeing them, but I keep not making it very far past the first season. And while I'm at it, let me go ahead and grab this, which has stayed out for a long time. You may recall that this is part of an ongoing set of releases that are slowly filling this box up. So now I can take these out, put that in, and I think that just leaves Aria the Origination. Is that right? Okay, and I will do that one thing right there. Take that, we'll toss that now. Next up, we have Basilisk. Can't read a fucking thing down there. The Ouka Ninja Scrolls, which is a new season of Basilisk, which is interesting. It's like this was a anime that seems like it came out on DVD Blu-ray a long time ago, or at least the first season did. I think the releases were similarly. Okay, regions A and B, English dub. The bloodline continues in bloodshed. Special features includes episode commentary. Straightforward. Okay, Blu-ray disc 1. It should be part 2, so this is part 2 disc 1, part 2 disc 2. DVD 1 disc 1, yeah, that begins with episode 13, and DVD 2 of part 2. Then we have kind of an alternative cover, because you have an alternative back. Oof. Oof. Next we have Black Clover. It should be season 1 part 5, I think. Yeah, that says season 1 part 5 there, but that's really hard to see with this stupid reflective plastic, so let's get the stupid reflective plastic off. Excuse me. Oof. Back, I see a region AB. Get this thing on focus. I think I see an English dub. Oh, Jesus. That lists a lot of extras. Clover Clips Special Edition includes highlights, episodes, textless opening and closing, inside Studio J, and I guess that gets to go aside. We have this. Drowning in the Waves of Despair. I wonder if this is the end of season 1? Part of the reason I suspect that might be the case is with that, I'm wondering if it fills the box set. Part 5 DVD 1, DVD 2, Blu-ray 1, and the slot. Oof. Yeah, I'm having horrible digestive issues right now. Okay, I saw some text in there, I saw a lot of stuff. Let me go ahead and go over here and grab the box set and let's evaluate, shall we? Because we can take this, see this goes here, and either there's a part 6 or this does fit in there. I'm not sure. But that said, I do need this one to remain here because I have this box over here because I've ripped them. So I need to rip that. Last but not least, Steins Gate 0 Part 1 limited edition set with the full box, so I can like take this plastic off and oof. Limited edition. Includes a bunch of shit. Region A, English dub. Okay, well, I guess the way we actually want to do this is probably set these down here so we can take a look at the box. Characters. Let's see, I guess this can go over here with those things. This, Season 1, Part 1, Region A, that. Special features, 2 commentary episodes from the English voice cast, pro video and text list opening and closing songs. Lots of neat. Includes episode 23 beta, the essential catalyst for Steins Gate 0. That's good to know. Take this and put that there. I can't even see which disc this is. I think I see a Blu-ray symbol right there. So this appears to be Blu-ray 1, Blu-ray 2, DVD 1, and DVD 2. Okay. And as I promised last time, actually, hold on, I think I keep this inside the sleeve. Last time I received Steins Gate 0 Volume 2, and since this one shipped and arrived late, put that in there now. And then this one is Part 1, art cards, phone accessories. Phone accessory, probably singular. Okay, set that aside. We have postcards. Interesting. I'm not sure what this is. I think this probably described it. Includes with interviews from 6 stylish art cards and then immediate phone stand complete with fairy Ouka cell phone strap. So this must be the stand. Is it that? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I guess I could see it. There's a little bit of a thing there, and this is the strap. The little Ouka. Okay. And then we have reference code beta, which has a lot of information, a lot of art. Cool. And I guessed this goes in here like that. Okay, and then this was technically on the top. So there we go. Although before I turn this on its side, I have to figure out how to include this in there, because this is part of this week's update. So here's this week's anime DVD collection update. Actually, I guess I didn't watch much anime this past week. I guess July 4th happened over the span, and yeah, basically Wednesday was preparing for the 4th, 4th was the 4th. I don't remember what happened Friday and Saturday. I know part of the general idea there was to finally rest after the 4th and watch Stranger Things Season 3. But I should cover the anime before I do that, so yeah. And then I ended up sick on Sunday. Guess I just didn't get much watching done. So, last night, my brother was over and we did whatever. But I did get a chance to watch one episode of Golden Kamuy, the first episode. So, it is definitely a very compelling first episode. You watch it and you're like, yeah, this is kind of neat. I really kind of like the pacing, the atmosphere. The colors are very intriguing. They definitely, I think, try to sell you on the series by showing ideas from the first episode and not necessarily where it goes from there. There's definitely not everything in trailers from the first episode, but it's a general idea, and I definitely want to see more. Now, where it goes from there, I actually don't know yet. Instead, I guess I have more to say about Stranger Things Season 3 since I actually did watch that. And yeah, it was entertaining. I'm sure it's the sort of thing that people would say is really good, but it's kind of interesting because if you kind of think about where Stranger Things started, it hasn't changed too radically per se, but it is changed in significant ways, where I kind of realized, for me, part of the draw of watching the first season was, well, I guess pretty much it had a very kind of X-Files, kind of mystery to its beginning, where it did not seem to behave the way it should be behaving. But then it kind of went into, okay, there's a kid who's in trouble and I really want to help him. There's that kind of feeling in there, so you can't really help because they're a piece of fiction, but you're like, I have to watch this to see that that kid is saved from that situation, because that's a very scary situation for me to imagine. And it's not like the situations aren't scary in the other seasons, but it isn't really much, it really isn't focused on that as a concept per se. And the stuff that is explored in Season 3 is very neat and stuff. It's just drifted from that. And you can kind of also feel it even if you really enjoyed Season 3, because, it's not like it drifted from a core thing that defines a series to, oh, it just lost itself. It's just kind of evolved a little bit, and it could have been something where people don't like the first season as much, but they really like the follow-up seasons. I could honestly see that. Whereas it's the opposite way for me, but Season 3 was still entertaining. But you have to admit that there is this element to the way Season 3 is designed, which makes it feel like, well, it feels like the writers are getting a little lost as to what's going on from a meta perspective, I guess. I mean, mostly the way I've described it is it feels like the characters are getting lost in their own individual stories, because Stranger Things is always, the first two seasons were about kind of the separate things that come together in the finale, and Season 3 is set up kind of like that, but then it's like you have this one group of people chasing after Russians, and this one group of people chasing after magnets, and this one group of people chasing after, you kind of have these things where it's like, wait, Russians what? And at that point you kind of feel like, while it's fun that the character's doing that, and entertaining is a good thing for a show to do, it's also a little less, it almost loses some of that sense of, yeah, I feel like these are characters really doing this. It almost feels like the show It's like, no, we're just doing this now. I don't know how we ended up coming up with this scenario, but yeah, suddenly there's Russians. Yeah, it's strange. It's again not necessarily unentertaining. I actually found it plenty entertaining, but I also kind of can't help but admit that it feels like the show is like, no, we need story arcs. We need characters who come together to discover something. It needs to be the same characters. And I guess it probably stands out a little more here in Season 3, because Season 2 is almost more of a continuation of the first season. And while Season 3 is technically a continuation of the second season, it doesn't feel like it as much. Oh, nothing too bad there. There are other things that I would like to say about it, such as it was nice to have Will not be kind of the unfortunate one in this situation, because the first 2 seasons, yeah, they had to treat him that way, and it makes sense. But, you know, you still kind of feel like it would be nice for the character to be able to be a part of things, and he was able to be a part of things, and that was nice. And while some of that stuff is spoiler, I don't think any of it is necessarily so spoiler that it can't be said, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it's been enjoyable. Let's see, outside of that, ended up not watching Endgame, and I almost wonder if it's no longer in theaters coming this Friday, which would mean that my chance for me and my friend to see it in theaters may be gone. Well, my friend's seen it, but I haven't. And that just kind of shows what's wrong with Spider-Man Far From Home. I heard its opening weekend didn't do as well as they were hoping. It's like, fucking duh, Endgame is still in theaters, and people can't even watch the trailers without getting Endgame spoilers, so they're not watching the movie. You need to give an Endgame breather. People need a chance to absorb Endgame. And, oh well, that's all stuff. Oh yeah, and then I mentioned I was going to talk a little bit about Giga Wrecker Alt, because for the 4th I hung out at my parents' place, which meant that I helped with some basic cooking stuff. Mostly I provided a lot of the food. But you know, helped with the cooking a little bit here and there, the planning, the setup, the breakdown. I think we mostly kept many of the dishes disposable, so there wasn't much dishes to do, which is good. It kind of meant that they had a big event happen there that could have been bigger. You know, there was a shit ton of leftovers. Apparently I overplanned everything as usual. But, you know, I digress. Most of my time there was actually spent just relaxing playing stuff. So I did play some Rocket League, for example, mostly because there's a tournament at the end of the month, and I keep forgetting I need to mention that in the Discord at work. Not the Discord, the... anyways. There's a tournament at the end of the month, and I don't want to win it, but I do want to be able to participate in it if they need me. If somebody wants me on their team or something, or it's helpful for me to be there and be somebody for people to warm up against, or just, you know, provide some presence, I want to be able to do that. Which basically means I need to play it enough to at least get annoyed by the fact that the stupid computer players are like, oh, there's a ball, let's hit it. And so your computer allies are like, oh, I'm going to go hit that ball, I'm just going to keep moving it for him. I'm like, you fucking idiot, you're taking it into our side of the map. Now all of their racers are going to be active again. You know, because when they're rookie players, you almost always have somebody guarding the goal. Anyways, you know, that was fun. You know, Rocket League is Rocket League, everybody likes it. Except for, of course, people who don't. There's nothing wrong with that. But Giga Wrecker Alt was another one I put a good amount of time into. Not a whole lot of time, but just enough. And it's an interesting game, but it's also a little flawed. You know, there's little forgivable things with the mechanics, just kind of like the way the character comes to a stop when you come to a start, and like, oh, but I only wanted to move just an inch. They have a little drift to them, which can cause them to go flying off of platforms, which is annoying. There's these little enemies that produce flying enemies that are just like, okay, you can't jump over them. You're supposed to attack them, but they attack rapidly enough that it's kind of tricky to stay on top of the situation per se. And then kind of reveals, or that I didn't know this at the time, but that kind of reveals a big problem with the game, and that's it's not really a game designed to get you into playing it. It's a game that looks like it's probably lots of fun if you already know how to play it. And you mostly see this with the first two bosses, where if you get really good with them, you know, that can be nice and fun and stuff. But when it comes to learning the bosses, they use mechanics that the game doesn't introduce you to at all. And they throw stuff at you rapidly enough that your health just gets whittled away really fast. And I'm playing on normal. I would have played on easy if there was an easy, so normal's supposed to be the easier playing mode, at least that's available now. And it gets really annoying because you die 3-ish times to a boss, and then the game will tell you, oh, by the way, this is how you fight the boss. And I'm like, thanks for fucking telling me. I've been trying to find out how to get any material to even hurt this one boss. Whereas the other one, it's just like this, you know, and that was the first boss, and even after knowing that, it was okay. It's not entirely obvious what the timings need to be, and some of the things seem to only work if you're gathering together rubble to put nano machines on enough of them in one go, and none of that's necessarily working with you, and the timing for everything is designed to be a little too tight. And that's a problem. Even when it tells you how to do it, it doesn't tell you, oh, you can do it here and here, and you know, oh, the physics get really weird for the thing here and here, and you're just gonna die. And eventually I beat the first boss. I'm like, well, okay, I want to see where it's about to send me after this, even though it was just a save point, because I was going to give the game a little bit of a chance to situate me in what I was going to do next. And then, hey, before that happened, there was a second boss. And the second boss is more of the same stuff. Well, here's mechanisms I'd never seen before. There's enough clutter on the screen that I didn't even notice that there were certain platforms being created, if you could even call them platforms. And the need to interrupt the boss for a lot of attacks wasn't even made obvious. And then it has this one where it's like, and you have to react to those things as fast, but you're playing this boss for the first time, and I just got frustrated because I wasn't there to already be good at the game. And some of this stuff could be really fun if you built up to it or if you knew what to look for, but you don't. So it's unfortunately lacking in conveyance. I think there's some conveyance. Okay, yeah, I think it's conveyance, and the problem is that conveyance is in the form of the boss fights, which is supposed to be kind of critical tests of stuff that you've accumulated, knowledge you've accumulated, but instead it's throwing mechanics at you that you've not had to deal with before, with some weird physics, and everything's just too tightly packed together for you to get thinking room to try and do it, which makes sense because the first boss isn't built up to be, yeah, this is just some common little thing that you could run into anywhere. This is actually supposed to be a big notable character. But again, from a gaming design perspective, I felt like I was not learning how to play the game the way they wanted me to play it. I was being stonewalled by the game not telling me what to do, and so I was never satisfied ever making progress or trying to make progress, and that's just against the first two bosses. I never beat the second boss. I just said, I'm not gonna keep doing this. I'm not spending my fourth doing this. So it's unfortunate because, you know, it had some interesting stuff going for it. I wouldn't say that the story was necessarily good. The setting was great, but the tone was inconsistent with that. A very, oh yeah, it's kind of almost post-apocalyptic, except everything is just speaking English. So it's not like you're up against aliens or something like that. For some reason they're just like, human detected in place. Probably not quite with that voice, but sometimes it kind of felt like, you know, it was being whimsical in that way, and I think it would have been more well served if it didn't have to be whimsical like that. Oh well. Anyways, this has been a nice long update, I think. Lots and lots of stuff to cover. I'm wondering if there's anything else to mention, but I don't know. Hopefully y'all have been feeling better the past week than I have. At least the past couple of days have just been weird for me. I don't know. Y'all have a nice week.